What are the top 5 most influential metal bands of all time? Tough question, here's my take. My criteria are to be as objective as possible and count the impact that the metal band had that lasts through to this day. The first one is indisputable. It is consensus that Black Sabbath was the first metal band, so obviously they're the first metal influence. For the second, I'm waffling back and forth between Judas Priest and Motorhead. Judas Priest because they started to play faster and created the sound that much of us think of as heavy metal, and they also introduced the leather and rivets image. But I'll go with Motorhead just because they played heavier, faster as well, and also introduced the devil may care punk rock attitude that has been so prominent in how metal bands behave and act. Next up is a decision between Death and Possessed, and that is with regards to the early death metal. Consensus is that Possessed released the first true death metal recording, so I'm gonna go with that consensus. Next, I'll go with the choice between Venom and Bathory. Personally, I agree with the folks that say that Venom wouldn't be considered inventors of black metal if they hadn't named that album Black Metal. Black metal as we know it today, and there's Possessed influences here too, but I think that Bathory can be credited with that, with the cave-like, low fidelity, screechy vocals and so on, with lots of reverb. Bathory gets my vote. Wow, that's 4 already, and we're only in sort of the early to mid 80s. So I have one pick left. What could that be? Well, listening to a lot of the current metal, I think that we need to give Meshuggah huge credit here. Granted, they were probably influenced by other complicated bands that did odd time signatures such as Atheist and so on, but in terms of influence, I think that more people were influenced by Meshuggah than they were by Atheist. There are a whole lot of bands missing here, and I'm sure that you have lots of suggestions that you can put in the comments. I would love to have Melvins in there because I think that they were the band in the Seattle scene that all the bands there wanted to be, and that spawned obviously a huge explosion in where metal went in the late 80s and 90s onwards. I could also give an honorable mention to Kiss, that I think was the first band for many to get started having a band and also want to have like explosions on stage, wear makeup, and wear black and chrome type costumes. Let me know if you agree, disagree, and all the additions that you would like to have. Put them in the comments.